Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it. Hello. Welcome to another episode. This week we are talking about promotions and how long should you be in a role before you ask for that promotion. And I know you guys are expecting me to say there are no rules because there never are, they're just guidelines. However, when it comes to promotions, there are questions that you need to ask yourself. There are no specific rules. But yeah, there are questions and there are things you need to consider. So we're going to get into it in this episode. So let's just dive in. What else is there to talk about? But let's go. So I had this question actually on my Instagram last year. And I thought it would just be a good episode because this is something I think a lot of people think of. They're like, oh, how long do I need to wait to get a promotion? What is too soon? How long is too long? Like some people are like, I've been in my job a really long time. I tried to get promoted and I didn't get it the first time. Like I'm trying again. Like how long is too long? Like what should I be doing? How do you go about them? And I just think this is a good place to start. So first and foremost, I'm going to say, because you expect it from me, there are no rules. And the reason I say that is because in some jobs, I've been promoted within 4 weeks, literally. And then in other jobs, 4 months. In other jobs, a year, 18 months. Some jobs, they're 2 years, still haven't been promoted. Like, it really depends on the job, but it also depends on you and your expectations. So before we even get into just the company, when you were going for the job, did you have that conversation at interview? Did you ask them what their training plans are? How many in the last year, how many people have been promoted? Like there are questions you can ask at interview to establish a company's culture. And the reason I'm saying this to you is this part is important. What is the company culture and expectation? So it might be time for you to get a promotion in the sense that you are ready for that promotion. You want that promotion. However, what's your company culture? Some companies, listen, I'm sure some of you have worked for them. The same people have been in the job 20 years. They've been the managers for like 10, 15 years, 20 years. Same managers. You ain't never getting a manager job, ever. Unless they create a role for you, those people are not leaving until they retire. And some of them work past retirement. Like you just got to look at certain companies and all the management and senior management have been the same people, but everyone below them constantly changes. Firstly, red flag. But also, if you are not looking for a promotion or ever wanting to grow, that's a great company for you because you don't want to grow. You want to stay where you are. Which I actually don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't think everyone wants promotions. I don't think everyone wants to grow. I don't think everyone wants those responsibilities. I don't think everyone looks at money and growth and career the same. So I'm such a believer in whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat. Me, I get bored real easy, real quick. And I never really realized, I thought I was quite a boring person. Like I like things to stay the same and I don't like change. But the reason I can be quite boring in my everyday life, like do the same thing every single day, is because I always throw in like a random holiday, a random trip, a random spa trip, some food. Like I do have things within my life that create me to not always need things to change on a day-to-day. But in my jobs, I'm going to get bored. Once I can do everything, the thing with me is I like to problem solve and I like to fix. If there's nothing left to fix, now what do you want me to do? Now I'm bored. Because what am I doing? I'm just being good at my job. And I get it. Yes, let's all be good at our jobs. But for me, like being good at my job, yes, I want to be great at my job. And once I feel like I've mastered it and I'm excellent, and that might take a year, 2 years. Like I'm not saying I'm excellent at my job day one. Absolutely not. Like I've spoken to you guys before. My current job that I'm in, when I started, I thought, yeah, this is going to be good. It's going to be easy. I love it. A year in and I was still like, wow, there's so much to learn. Why? Firstly, because I was part-time and I underestimated how much longer it takes you to learn things when you only go in a few days a week. And secondly, just the size of the company, the culture of the company, the dynamics of the company, very different from anywhere I've ever worked. So it just took me time. I'm still learning. So therefore, getting bored is not a thing. Me wanting a promotion, absolutely not a thing. Also, the season of life that I'm in. I want a career and I want a business. That doesn't really facilitate or give room for like wanting to grow. Before in my career, I always wanted to grow. I always wanted promotions. I always wanted to be at the top. I always wanted to be in charge. Because when you're in charge, you have it gives you more freedoms. And I don't care what anyone says, it does. I was approving the annual leave. So guess what? I always got my annual leave. I was paying people's payroll. Like what I'm saying is when you're at a certain level, it just is different. So there's not really anyone to answer to, if that makes sense. Versus like my role now, I'm in management, but there's a lot of people above me that I need to answer to. And it's different, but I enjoy it because like I said, I'm an entrepreneur and an employee, balancing the two. This is the season I'm in and it works. But if you're thinking about a promotion, have you thought about your company's culture? Do they offer do they want people to be promoted that quickly? Or are they looking for people that stay in the same role for at least 5 years before they promote them? Have you spoken to your colleagues? Like, while you've been there, like have they been in the same role because they wanted to be or because there's been no room for growth? Some companies do not like when you're super ambitious and you want to grow too quickly because what they think is this: you've come in, you're going to learn everything from them, grow really quickly and leave really quickly. Versus other companies are like, yeah, we want our people to grow from within so that you know the company, you know the structure, you believe in the company. So when you grow and you become a manager or a director, you're a real advocate for that company. And they prefer to recruit for the lower roles, for like more junior roles. So if they prefer to recruit from the bottom up and you work your way up internally. But what is your company culture? So before you say to yourself, oh, how long should I wait? Sir, madam, it depends on your company. What are their expectations? Do they expect that you stay in a role for 2 years? Because do they think that you need 2 years to be excellent at your job? I don't believe there's a set amount of time to be excellent at your job. Some people will take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Some people are good at their job in 6 months. You know, have you ever met those people that just seem to be good at everything? Those people like they learn something on Monday and by Friday they're excellent at it. Like my daughter is one of those people. Don't tell her I said this. But she is literally one of those people. If she puts her mind to it, she can learn something and master it in like 3 weeks. And I'll watch her and be like, what? Like my daughter has really long hair and braids her own hair, like as in adds in hair extensions, which means she has to braid them to her past her bum because of the fact that her natural hair is so long. She taught herself. We get stopped sometimes and people say, oh, who did your hair? I really want to get my hair done like that. She's like, oh, I did it. They're like, oh, your hairdresser. She's like, no, we've been on holiday in America. And remember, Americans always pride themselves on the fact that they do hair way better than the UK. They think our hair is awful. They think we wear crispy wigs and all that. We're not going to get into that. But anyway, do you know how many people have stopped her and said, oh my gosh, your hair's amazing? And when she braids my hair, do you know how many people stop me and say, oh my God, your hair looks so nice. Who did it? I need to visit your hairdresser. My hairdresser is my daughter. How did she teach herself? YouTube videos. How long did it take her? A day. She didn't want to have box braids anymore and said she wanted knotless. I said to her, I can't do them because I used to braid her hair. Box braids. I was like, no, knotless looks too complicated. She showed me a video and she was like, Mum, of course you can do it. I said, no, not doing it. By the end of that day, she knew how to do knotless braids. She put knotless braids in her hair and said, I don't need you anymore. All I need you to do is part my hair into sections and then I'll do it. The other day, she is currently away at university and she literally had to put the boxes in her hair herself because I'm not there to do the back for her. She used a couple mirrors, figured it out. I saw her. She came home recently just to visit. Oh my gosh, her braids look amazing. It looks like someone else parted them out. Like the lines are straight, everything's clean. How does she do that? Because she's just one of those people. So that is why I'm saying, when I say there's no rules sometimes, that's what I mean, there's no rules. Someone like her, probably going to get into a job and get promotion real quickly. If she wants to, because she puts her mind to it, she gets what she wants. She's just very good at learning stuff. She's almost like, when you say jack of all trades, don't get me wrong, she's a master of a few, but she is like, she can be a jack of all trades. If she wants to learn something, she will. And I know part of that is me, because if I ask people to help me and they won't, or they're taking too long, I'll figure out how to help myself. I learned how to decorate a room because I'd been asking my mum for over a month to help me and she wouldn't. So anyway, I know I've gone off track a little bit, but my point is, everyone's different. So there are no rules in how long, but there are questions. First question, what is your company's culture and expectation? What do they expect from you? Do you know what they expect? Have you asked? Have you had the conversation? In your one-to-ones, in your appraisals? Are you letting them know, like, I do want to work towards a promotion. I think I'm ready for a promotion. What are your thoughts? They're either going to say to you, yep, let's work on a plan. Let's look at X, Y, Z. Or they're going to say to you, oh no, we'd expect people are in roles here for 3 or 4 years before they get a promotion. What's your next move? Your boss says to you, oh, I've been here 20 years. And blah, blah's been my boss that whole 20 years. Think about what you're hearing. What's your next move? Company culture is everything. And again, like I said, rewind and go back to your interviews. Did you ask the right questions at interviews? If you know you're someone who values growth and you want growth quickly, or growth is necessary for you to achieve your goals. Like when I switched industry, when I moved into recruitment, I wanted to get into HR. I knew that without qualifications or experience, recruitment was one of my best bets. If I got 2 years experience in recruitment, because I used to read HR jobs and they would say, need a HR degree or relevant experience of 2 to 3 years in the similar industry. Haha. I wanted to get into the recruitment side of human resources. So I went into recruitment, a similar industry, because I was not going back to school. We all know. Adele will find the quickest route to what she wants, and going back to school was not the vibe for me. If it's the vibe for you, amazing. But again, this is my point. Expectations and culture. We have our own culture and expectations. So we cannot expect a company not to have those cultures and expectations. So what is your company expectation? If you want to be promoted, why do you want to be promoted? Is it because you want to get into another part of an industry? Is it because you've always valued growth? Is it because you get bored quickly? What are your expectations going in? And have you established what the company's expectations are at interview? If you're already in the company, pay attention. If people have been in the same job 10, 15 years, getting promoted is going to be really hard, again, unless the company creates a role for you. And again, that is not impossible. I've been in a job where they created a role that never existed and has not existed since. That role was created for me because I think they could see I was getting bored and they knew I wanted growth. And the only way to give me that growth was to literally create a senior management role for me that hadn't existed before. Guess what? That looks beautiful on my CV. The money wasn't necessarily money in when I think back to it, but it looked beautiful on my CV and that helped catapult me into the rest of my career. So think about the culture of the company. Second question, how good are you at your job? And that's me being as real as possible. Do you know how much people say to me, I've been at my company 3 years. They should have promoted me by now. Whoa, how good are you at your job? Are you good? Are you great? Because that's important. Everyone wants a promotion. How many years you've done a job doesn't mean you're great at it. What are your outcomes? What are your results? How have you helped other people to get those same results? Because that's what leaders do. That's what managers do. How are you under pressure? Because again, I see some leaders, one thing goes wrong, stressed, crumbling. It's not giving leader. Sometimes leadership and management is actually a quality that some people just naturally have. And again, I don't think you can't learn it. I do think you can learn to be a leader, but I think when you have natural ability and natural strength, it's so much easier to lead than when someone has to teach you and force you to be a leader. That's a lot harder because that's like squeezing a square into a circle-shaped hole because you don't have natural leader qualities. You're not a natural leader. Maybe you don't like bossing people around. Maybe you don't like having to manage lots of personalities. Like I know some leaders that are like, no, everyone should be the same. Absolutely not. One thing I've learned about being in leadership, you will have a team of 10 all doing the same job, but all have totally different personalities and different ways that you need to motivate them to get the result that you need. That's great leadership. Poor leadership is when you try and make everyone act and be one way because you think that's the only way that they can be successful. And guess what? Those teams are usually the teams that have the most turnover. Those teams are usually the teams where people run away because, again, are you good at your job? And also being good at your current job is not an indicator that you'll be a great leader. Being good at your current job and showing leadership qualities within that job is how you can see if you'll be a good leader. And some of you are probably saying, I can hear you shouting at the podcast right now saying, but how will I know if I'm going to be a good leader if I've never been given the opportunity? Guess what? The reason I got into leadership was because people above me saw that I was naturally a leader. When things would go wrong within our team or within the thing, I would be the one that's like, why don't we try X, Y, Z? I'm not the leader. But I naturally would do that. And then there's other people that are like, I'm not doing that. That's my boss's job. Cool. But then how anyone going to ever see your leadership? How are you going to see if you can lead if you don't at least try? I never used to go to my boss with problems. I used to say, well, this is the problem. I think we should do this. Because guess what? When I go with a solution, that shows initiative. That shows leadership. So how good are you in your current role? And have you shown leadership qualities? Because you can want something. Don't mean you should get it. It's no different from when I say to you guys, going into a negotiation and saying, I should get a pay rise because I've been working here for 10 years. What? Being in the building isn't reason for a pay rise. Making them money and making them profit and giving them the outcomes they want, keeping them legally compliant, that is a reason for a pay rise. I might have only been at a company 6 months, but guess what? If I've made you 40 grand, that's a bit of a low number actually. Let's go better. If I've made you 100K in those 6 months, I want some of it back. And my money's puny. I'm not in leadership. I'm not in senior management, but I'm making this type of money for you. Run me some of them funds. Riri said it best. B better have my money. Facts. Think about it. I worked for a company and I tripled the revenue we were bringing in. When I started at that company, they was making about 20K a year. I got them up to almost making $1 million in a year. You think I ain't telling them to run me some money? Are you mad? You can give me all the titles you want. You can give me all the manager, senior manager, operations director. You can give me all the titles you want. You're going to have to run me the money that I'm helping you make. The profits are insane that I'm helping you make. When I ask for a pay rise, you're only giving me a tiny portion back. When I ask you for part-time hours and I tell you I'm still going to be able to deliver that level, I'm going to need you to help me out. When I'm asking you for shares or I'm asking you I want to make dividends, I'm going to need you to really consider it because of what I'm doing, not because I've been at my job for 3 years. Do you see there's a very big difference? So again, is it time for a promotion or is it time to hone your skills, get great at it, start showing off your leadership qualities, start verbalizing and letting them know, listen, I'm ready for a promotion. I've done X, Y, Z. What else do you need me to do? Because I'm ready for the next step. Also, something that's really important, sometimes you can be really good at your job and ready for leadership and show all the qualities of a leader and they won't move you up because you're too good at your job. This is a real thing, people, so I need you to listen. When you are super, super, super good at your job, they are scared that if they remove you from that part of the chain, like the chain that makes everything work in your company, that then it's going to fall apart. So if they let you move up, that area is going to fall apart and they will sometimes keep you back because of it. You have two options. Remove yourself. That's always an option. Always, 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 always find something better and remove yourself. I'm not saying to you just quit out of nowhere, but I'm saying find a better job, give your notice and leave. Or you need to be able to show them that you will help them find your replacement, train your replacement, and even when you move up, you will still support that replacement until they are as good as you. But that you're going to still need that promotion because without it, they're going to lose you either way. And that we do not make threats. That's something really important. We do not make threats. I always say things like, I'm ready for the next step and I'm going to have to start exploring my opportunities because I understand that might not be available to me here. Oh, do you see how that was a professional? If you don't give me what I need, Susan, I'm going to have to remove myself and go somewhere else without me saying it like that. It's not about threatening people, but it is about professionally letting them know you've got some options, even if you don't have the options. But if you are going to have those conversations, be ready for any outcome. I always say that to people. People will take my advice sometimes and say to me, oh, but then this happened. Yes, be ready for any outcome. The outcome might not always be good. They might be like, okay, go and explore your options. Was you really ready to explore your options or was you bluffing? When I have certain conversations, I'm never bluffing. So I don't have them until I'm ready. One thing about me, I will be planning and plotting something for months before I go and have a conversation. Why? Because I need to be ready in my spirit and in my soul. Have you really got options, Adele? Or are you bluffing? Because bluffing is it's a tricky game in this career world. Sometimes it pays off. I'm not saying it doesn't. Depends on how risk averse you are. Like if you are one of those people that are ready to take all the risks, that's on you. I'm not really that person. I've done it one time in my whole career where I quit without having another job lined up. And still to this day, it worked out for me, but I don't recommend it. It is not good for your nervous system. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it unless you've got a backup, you've got money, there's certain things that would need to be in place. So if you want a promotion and you're excellent at your job and you're finding it like it's like they don't want to promote you, but they'll even keep on giving you money, everything, but just keep you in the same place, it's because you're too good and they are really scared that things are going to fall apart in that department if they let you move up or if they let you go to a more senior role. You just got to show them that you being in a more senior role is actually going to be better for them because you're going to be able to train everyone to be as great as you. That's almost the way we need to kind of focus their attention. So yeah, that's another thing that we need to consider. Also, last but not least, have you started doing tasks or taking on responsibilities from the role above you? Now, you guys know I say all the time, if they're giving you more responsibilities, expecting more from you, they need to pay you. However, if you are doing something for a short period of time, it's no different from covering for someone. Like if someone goes on leave, like sick leave or something like that, or annual leave, you cover for them, right? Just like if you go on leave, they cover for you. So you take on a bit of extra responsibility during that time. It's no different. But you have to have a plan. It's not like I'm just going to take on all these extra responsibilities so that I can show leadership qualities and 1 year from now I'm still doing my same job. No. It is about what small things can you do. Like I used to always say to people, the more you can make your boss's life easy, the easier it is for you to get your promotion. Because then you become an asset. You become harder to replace because you're so helpful to them. Now, yes, they might be able to replace you and get someone else to do your job, but you do extra. You do a bit more than just your job. You take on extra responsibilities. You do 1 or 2 things here and there for the last 3 months that make you a bit more of a generalist. You support in other departments. You take things off your boss's plate. Not because you're just a nice person, because you want your promotion and your money. These are all things, when I talk about strategic, sophisticated career moves, when I talk about finessing your job because they are going to get everything they want from you, so you should get everything you want from them, this is what I'm talking about. Are you being strategic? Are you thinking about the moves that you make? If I'm taking on extra responsibility, I want an outcome. I'm not doing it because I'm just nice. And don't get me wrong, there are things, again, if you're naturally a leader, there are things that you will naturally take on and you don't even realize you're doing it. And I've done that before. I've got burnt out before because I naturally will be like, this is a problem. Let me just go and fix it. Why is everyone like, oh my gosh, what should we do? Just fix the problem. If you can think about it, fix it. But I then think about the fact that, I fixed a couple problems recently that realistically my boss should have fixed. Oh, we need to have a conversation. Because if I'm making you look good, I'm going to be wanting a promotion at some point. I'm going to be speaking to you and seeing where we can go with this. And no, I don't want your job necessarily. That's not what we're saying. But is there another job that is more senior to my job that we can talk about? And again, sometimes that will result in jobs being created for you, not all the time, but in smaller companies often. Even in big companies, I've seen it where they've made like a role in between 2 roles, like that didn't really exist, but now kind of exists because they don't want to lose that person. However, if that's not the case, is there other departments where, or other areas where I can get that job and be promoted? Or is it that I need to leave and get promoted elsewhere? But if I have taken on the responsibility in my current job, sometimes you've got to use your current job to get your next job. So my current job's not promoting me. They've said, nope, sorry, babes, you're not getting a promotion. But you're like, okay, cool. Let me take on some extra projects and some extra responsibilities. Why? Because that looks good on my CV. When I go to the new job, I'm going to be able to tell them that, I've led the team to do this. The outcome was this. I made this much money from it, or I saved this much money for it, or I was able to help us avoid a fine because I helped us be compliant. I helped with cybersecurity, whatever it was. I did these things because you took on the extra responsibilities at work in that role. And if they then say to you in the new interview, how come you didn't go for the promotion in your current job? There wasn't a room for promotion because my manager or the managers have been there for 10 years or 5 years. And there was nowhere else to go. I was already as high as I could go unless my manager got promoted or unless my manager left. Simple. They don't work at your company. That's another thing. I'm going to talk about this in another episode at some point. But when you go for interviews, that they don't know your other job. That they don't know what salary you are on. They don't know. In the UK, it's very different. I'm not talking about everywhere in the world, but they don't know. So you're not worrying about but if I say I've got management experience, but I never was an actual manager. It doesn't matter if you were actually given the title. If you've been working and doing management experience, talk about it in your next interview. But we'll talk about that on a whole other episode. Back to being promoted. So back to the first question. How long should you be in a role before asking for a promotion? Once you answer all the questions that I've said in this podcast episode, that's your answer. This is how I help my clients determine, is it time for a promotion? If it is, are you going to be able to get it where you are based on the culture, the expectation, the environment, or are we going to need to do it somewhere else? Some of my clients, I helped one of my clients get a 12K pay rise and a title bump in her current job. The title bump is a fake bump. It actually doesn't mean anything, but it doesn't matter because she can use that title when she goes to another job. And also she got a 12K pay jump. She doesn't care. She doesn't care that it's a fake title. Why? She wanted a promotion. There actually wasn't room or anywhere to be promoted to. But we put together a nice wording where it's I do need to explore my options. I do love it here. However, I do feel like X, Y, Z. We put everything together. She said it. And they said, we don't want to lose you. Here's 12 grand. So again, your company's culture and expectation will help dictate how quickly you can get a promotion. Do you need to stay where you are or do you need to go elsewhere? How good are you at your current job? Is being good at your current job actually the thing holding you back because now they're scared that if they remove you from that job, they won't be able to replace you? Or Are you good at your job, but you haven't yet got good at showing leadership qualities? Or you still have room to grow and learn? Use your current job to grow and learn and practice your leadership skills. It's better to practice now than when you become a leader, everything's practice. Now, don't get me wrong, when you first become a leader, it is all trial and error, a lot of it. But if you've got some understanding, if you've supported team members, if you've supported agency staff when they come in, students, who have you helped? What problems on the team have happened that you have helped solve that have actually impacted the company and the business? That is a leadership quality. Have you already started doing tasks that actually should sit with your boss, but you're doing them? Why? Because maybe your boss is incompetent, maybe your boss is lazy, or maybe you're just trying to make their life easier because you really want that promotion. Again, put a time frame on it. We're not doing these things for 6 months, 1 year without some sort of reward. Are you, what? 1 year I'm doing these extra responsibilities for free? Never. Absolutely not. What's the plan? Are we doing something for 12 weeks so that we can get an outcome? Or are we doing it because we know we're not going to get promoted at this current job because of the culture, but we need that experience so that when we finally find a new job, because remember, finding a new job doesn't happen overnight. You still got to send applications, you still got to go for interviews. While you're doing that, you can be getting more leadership experience and getting more responsibilities at your current job. So by the time you go for interview, you're talking about all the new responsibilities that you've got. Do you see? So that's the answer to the question, how long should you wait? There are no rules. Sometimes it's 4 months, sometimes it's 4 years, sometimes it's 6 months, sometimes it's 6 days. I don't know what the quickest promotion ever is in history. I'm just saying, you can get promoted really quickly or slower, depending on the things that I've spoken about in this episode. If you're struggling to get promoted or you're not sure how to go about it, reach out. My one-on-one, one-off coaching sessions are perfect for things like this. I don't just do my coaching program, which, as you should know, is open again for this year. I also do one-off strategy sessions, one-off career sessions, where we will have 90 minutes together and we will go over certain things. We will put together things. Sometimes people want their CVs, support them with the CVs in those. They don't want me to write their CV, but they want me to have a look at it and go through it and talk about which things are achievements, which things aren't achievements. They want to understand how they talk about those things in interviews, and we do some interview prep. We also have people that I know they want to get promoted and they're like, okay, what's the plan? I want to be here in 2 years ago, but what do I need to be doing now? There are so many things that we can achieve in a strategy session. Money's always a big one. Like, I've got clients who've done one strategy session, 30k pay rise. One session, 22k pay rise. One session, 35k pay rise. Like, so many different pay rises from one session. 2 sessions, new job, new industry. And then I've got people that work with me longer because we've got more work to do. Their confidence might not be where it needs to be. I do, should I say, a lot of different things when I'm working with my clients. So if you need support, reach out. Book a consultation call. Let's see if working together is a good fit. Head over to my website, atinrich.com. And I'm going to say that, A-T Enrich. Yeah, that's what you need to go over to. Book a call. Or if you're on my LinkedIn or my Instagram, listen, the links are there. Just click the link and book yourself in and let's have a conversation. Anyway, hope this has been a good episode. If you've liked it, share it, leave a comment if you found it helpful. If you want me to elaborate on promotions and talk more about it, or you've got more questions from this interview, what am I talking about? If you've got more questions from me talking on this episode about promotions, send me them, DM me, put them in the comments of this. Rate the show. Listen, last year, 2024 was such a great year. So many new listeners, so many of you made comments on different episodes or sent me messages. Let's run it up this year. Let me know what you like, what you prefer, what type of episodes resonate with you the most. Because I'm here to help. This podcast is people's cheat codes. Listen, last year, do you know how many people used this podcast to get one of my listeners 60k pay rise? She told me exactly which episodes she listened to and she just used those episodes, 60k pay rise. Another one of my clients, she said until she started listening to me, she didn't realize how much she was shortchanging herself. She was able to not only get a pay rise, but also get herself insane amount of paid annual leave. Listen, podcast, fully a cheat code. Cheat code for your confidence, your career changes, and your money upgrades. Utilize it. That's what I'm here to do. I'm here to help. Anyway, speak to you in the next episode, guys. I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.